Okay, this is a interesting one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are so back. We are out here. We are popping off. We are chilling. You know me. I'm back. Sorry. When you first start reading advice, like self-improvement advice or reading books, a lot of my friends are taking the SAT. So a good example is hearing advice about SAT related stuff. At first, you're taking every advice in as if it's gospel. You're just like, I'm reading it, it's correct, we're gonna roll with it. I'm not gonna succeed until I do it. And then that happens for a while, and then you approach a point to where you've been in the space for a while, so you know the common ideas of what people say and repeat. Like you have the foundations of the concept down. And then suddenly, as you're reading maybe a blog post or a book or talking with your friends, you come across a contradictory piece of advice that completely goes backward against what you've heard before. You get frustrated and you might think like, what's actually true? Did the first person lie to me? Am I being lied to now? And sometimes both make sense. I just wanted to say, I wanted to make this video to point out the fact that two opposing perspectives did not necessarily mean that one or the other is incorrect. It's simply a different perspective. I showed this picture to my friend the other day. I guess, give me a second, I gotta find it. We have a little debate channel in our own old high school server, I guess. So here's the picture. The blind and the elephant. So there's three people in this picture and they're all, touching a different part of this animal. And they're trying to figure out what it is that they're touching. So this person with the blue blindfold might say, "Oh, it's long. It's really cylindrical. It's rough. It's a snake." And then this other guy feels it, and it's like hard. He bangs it, and it's so big. He stretches his arms around. And he's like, "Oh, okay, this is a wall because I can't climb it. I can't get past it." And this guy is grabbing on the thin little end at the end of the elephant. He's like, "Oh, it's a rope. Like I can wrap my fingers around it. And it's like thready or whatever." There's even like a thready part of the elephant. I told my friend, just for context, my friend is someone he's like the black pillar. So Google that. And I told him, black pill is only one perspective of reality. It's not the entire truth. He responds with, "Eh." I mean, it's pretty hard to make someone change their opinion, right? And then I'm saying, and then I responded to him saying, it's not entirely incorrect. It's just that his view is insufficient. And it's sufficient in the sense that some people could carry that perspective throughout their lives, and it's a working model of some aspect of the truth, but it's not the whole truth. Like this elephant guy here. He's touching just the wall or just the rope. He doesn't understand the phenomenological existence of an elephant until he's seen, experienced, probably felt the entire animal. And so much more too. There's 4 dimensions to this. I guess I'll mention it now. There could be people who just smell the elephant. They don't even feel it. They don't even know what it looks like. There could be people who are analyzing what the elephant is doing behaviorally, socially. They could be studying the elephant's memory. That's so many more perspectives on this single animal. And that's one of the reasons why people have these contradictory pieces of advice. Imagine for dating, there could be your big brother from who went to college and come back and tell you all these things about how it works, and then that's firsthand experience from someone who's probably done it a lot in his perspective, and then you could switch to a different conversation about an academic study about women's psychology, and it could be completely different. And that kind of makes sense because your brother might be these 3 guys just studying the elephant through touch, while another group is looking at the elephant's behavior and like analyzing all of these things. There's also different viewpoints. So I wrote on a note here saying there's different perspectives and angle, and then there's completely different perspectives. Because let's go back to the scientist and the brother. The brother and his friends might have different disagreements on how, I guess it's the easiest example, just how women work. Because your friends have different experiences, which makes them have unique ideas about the truth, but they still come from the same place. Like all the people who learned golf at a country club will have that same foundation of how golfing works, and so they're all going to agree on this same basic fundamentals, versus how might be played in Japan, where it's the same sport, but it's probably a completely different approach. And those Japanese golfers are observing other Japanese golfers either through media, through tournaments, through meeting up, through practicing together, where, oh, you're holding that club wrong, you're supposed to hold it like this. And the other person says, okay. Meanwhile, the Americans are holding their own clubs in a different way, they're swinging in a different way, they have certain postures. And so those two perspectives look completely different on the same sport, about the same idea, about the same thing. And so when you go to advice, what may seem like contradictory ideas, where you just get confused and might give up and just like, oh, none of this makes sense. It's just different perspectives. But here's the hope, and here's the most important thing that you need to understand about this.
Hey, post-editing, Sam here. I just wanted to add something to this. So, the underlying fact here is that while the two different cultures of golf approaches may seem different, the reason you're confused is because there's the idea that you're missing something. And the thing that you're missing is the underlying truth of why both approaches work. If you are a new golf student and you just learn golf the way the Americans teach it to you, you assume that's the only way because that's the only way you've learned it. But the person who invented the swing the American way had a reason that he's done that. Similar to why the Japanese developed their own way of swinging a golf club, because there's an underlying truth that the ball goes well in that swing. And while the Americans swing a different way, there's another underlying truth about making that ball swing well as well. And so, if you're having two different perspectives and they seem to be clashing, there's a chance that you're missing something. I'm missing an underlying truth about what's going on behind both phenomenons. And the best part is, when you understand both, when you understand the nuance of why these two approaches are different and why they came to be, your understanding of the truth is just that much more robust.
When you have all of these additive perspectives and different angles on the subject, you get a lot more detailed picture. If you look at this elephant again, you can see how well the elephant is shaded. By the way, you can see here sketch explanations. It's a very cool website. I'll put it in the description. It's a nice hour of your time. You're able to see so many dimensions to this elephant because of the shading, because of the color, not just the shape. The people drawn here are just pretty one-dimensional. But with all of these perspectives you can see in the elephant, you have a much greater. Now here's the trick. You have a much more rendered idea of the truth. And so if you go into the world with an open mind and continue to render your idea of the truth with the more information that you will learn about it, you can have a pretty good working model with nuance. And nuance is the key here, because another point I wrote about here is the idea of the counterculture to the counterculture. So for example, the status quo culture, 50s, 60s, is that gay people wasn't really a topic of conversation. If you felt weird about it, you just wouldn't mention it because it's weird. It's just weird to say out loud. The counterculture strikes. Oh, gay people are good. To be gay is amazing. All these people, we should fight for their rights because they're human rights. And so they push it onto the culture, and because they push it onto a lot of people, the counterculture strikes, which essentially says, look at all these people. They're what nonsense are they saying? They're saying these people can become this, and then the next generation grows up saying, I don't want to be associated with this. It does not make sense to me. I'm stepping out of this conversation, or I'm actively fighting against it. Mostly stepping out of the conversation, though. And what happens is that we see like these pendulum swings swing more center and center. Of course, there's still variation in today's world, but it's a lot more less polarized than how it was, say, when the gay bill first got passed, or all the way back when people were very strictly, that's a sin. And now we're adjusting as a culture. And your idea of how the world works, or truth itself, also adjusts. So there may be seasons to your understanding of truth where it seems to be very pessimistic, and then you learn something the next week or the next month, and you become very optimistic about it, and then, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's not emotion based, but purely mechanicalistically, just these details, that change as you learn more about the topic. And so I just wanted to tell you guys that when you receive advice that seems to be completely opposite, it's actually good, because you're further rendering your idea of the truth. And that's amazing. That's what I strive to be for. And the great part is that there's no end game to this. Because the moment you say, I know everything there is to know about this thing, you're being prideful. Because you don't. There's always there's new creation to be made all the time. And if it's something that is, already existed that you're studying, we could understand photosynthesis so well, but there's still like biology in the plant, there's still chemical equations that are missing, there's still so many different layers of like molecular, biological, or chemical things going on that there's just so much. Mitochondria alone, there's so much happening that we don't fully understand, and that's just the constant chase for the rendering of the truth. And so you don't need to be studying mitochondria, but if there's something in your life that's important to you and you've come across like this big roadblock, it's great. It's great because you're grappling with truth. And it's not necessarily the truth in its purest form, because like I said, it's pretty difficult to get to. But you're constantly carving it out like a woods craftsman, really shaving away the parts that don't work, the distruths, the lies, and slowly uncovering what is. And your working model for everyday life is getting better and better. And so with things like studying, you'll have to experiment, you'll have to find out for yourself, because they'll say, oh, my truth is different from your truth, aka the way I learn is different than the way you learn. But there could be something that's underlying that you don't know about, that is the overarching truth of, something that you don't see yet. Because what seems to be two separate towers could have a full common ground that both towers are built on. And so, I mean, when I think about it, no one is really that special. There really is no special people. I'm not special. So yeah, that is the video. Now it's time. If you want to, leave, you can leave. The video's pretty much done. So for the weekly check-in, we're so back. Dude, look at this. We got this guy. Holy muffin, bro. It's a dog. Just kidding. We've had this guy. We've had him. But most importantly, we have these epic lights, bro. Oh my gosh. Look at the dog. He's so well shaded, bro. So, I got this guy. I got that guy. I can change them to whatever color I want, by the way. And we got the big bazunga, bro. Oh my gosh. He's full RGB. Full, brightness, bro. Like, he could be anything I want. Check this out. If I go to this app, look, he's Bluetooth, right? I can just change him, bro. Look at this, bro. Oh, and then I get brightness too. Watch this. So this is like 30% brightness. I'm gonna make it green. We're gonna pump this up. Look how bright it is, Chichu. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? And then I have like my saved settings. So I can go here and it's ready for my next YouTube video. It's so cool. Money is so nice. Yeah, that's the lesson, kids. Money is nice. But also perspectives. Think about the things that you're thinking about. And learn as much as you can. Because books are cool. But yeah. I will see you guys next week. This video was pretty chill to make. Still getting in the flow of weekly uploads. But yeah, still going strong. 2 weeks in a row. Bet. I'll see you guys. Wrong. You're supposed to hold it like this, and the other person says, "Okay, pretty good." Sorry, I should not have said that. Cut that out.